Jim Jones was on Nightcap with Shannon Sharpe and Chad Ochocinco earlier tonight, and he got destroyed and embarrassed by Shannon Sharpe. I was watching this, and even I felt bad for Jim Jones. Shannon Sharpe is actually a really huge fan of Nas, so he wanted to confront Jim Jones about these comments that Jim Jones made on Fat Joe and Jadakiss podcast earlier in this week.
There's a big gap there, you know what I mean? I want people to understand that. So when Shorty's telling people that, yeah, he's 20-some years old, that goes to show the part of the era that he's in, that I came into light and started going crazy that these kids love me. They don't really know who Nas is. If he's 22, he's born in 03.
Not all of them. Some of them know. But
you know what I mean?
A lot of them know.
Yes. But it's the era.
Some music.
No.
There's some kids that.
No, I love that.
There's some kids that love hip-hop.
20, so I mean,
but that kid, he's your son.
He's your son.
He's your son.
No, but he knows.
My son,
they know about
my son
Nas.
can't tell you one Nas record. You heard? Like, let's keep it a buck here.
Yeah, but
let's keep it a buck. You heard? Let's keep it a buck because you'll bring it up. There must be some type of misconception or what's that word when it comes to Jim Jones and what Jim Jones have done in this game. A lot of these rappers,
we made him take the darkies off.
a lot of these rappers have done a tremendous job, and I take nothing away from them. But they forget I got a hell of a catalog. Me, Jim Jones, myself, gold records, platinum records, gold albums, platinum albums. No, me, Jim Jones. No diplomats, no nobody else. Me, Jim Jones. Check my track record, then check everybody else's track record. Then go to the billboards and check all my entries, then check all them niggas' entries and shit like that. And I'm not taking nothing away from nobody, but I hear the comparisons and the niggas trying to act funny when it comes. No, I've been spanking a lot of this shit. I'm about the industry. I've been putting on. So let's not get into that where we get into numbers and I got to show you the statistics of what I've done. You heard to what other people was done. You heard them. If you want to go to the billboard entries, pull up Nas billboard entries and pull up my billboard entries.
Things like influence and who's better, that's purely subjective. Purely. Somebody can hear Jim Jones rap and think Jim Jones is a better rapper than Nas, and vice versa. But what's not subjective are the numbers, the accolades, and the facts. And those are the things that Jim Jones lied about. Jim Jones will say that he has more Billboard entries than Nas, more platinum records, more hits. Well, that's just not true. Even by the metrics that Jim Jones brought up, he loses every time. Jim Jones wanted the solo artist stats, so we're just looking at the solo artist stats. Nas has about 5 or 6 platinum albums. Jim Jones don't have a platinum album. Nas has, I believe, 1 or maybe 2 platinum singles. Jim Jones has 1 or 2, depending on how you look at it. The We Fly High and then the We Fly High remix, I believe, are both platinum. But nonetheless, though, just by the single artist stats, Nas is outperforming Jim Jones. Now, if we look at Billboard entries, Nas is also outperforming Jim Jones. Nas has 15 plus Billboard Hot 100 entries. Jim Jones have 2 Billboard Hot 100 entries. So, yeah, Nas win this as well. So, I don't know why he was asking us to pull up Nas' Billboard stats and his Billboard stats as if he was going to outperform Nas, which is just not true whatsoever. Jim Jones is the first man over 6 feet tall that has little man syndrome. He has confidence, like super confidence, that can sometimes appear to be delusion. Jim Jones feels like hip-hop is leaving him behind, that when people tell the history of his era, he's often not included, and that his influences are disregarded. Which, for the most part, he's kind of right? Like right now, when we wear Chrome Hearts, we don't think about Jim Jones. When we wear the belts, we don't think about Jim Jones. When we think about, like most of the fashion trends that's been like resurfacing within the last, 5 years or so, that comes from Jim Jones. But that's the fashion, not the music, right? And you can definitely demand your credit in the fashion without overreaching or trying to compare yourself to somebody like Nas, who most people will put in their top 10 rappers of all time category. Shannon Sharpe tries to tell Jim Jones exactly what I just said, tries to let him know he's somewhat delusional. Jim Jones wasn't going for it, and it ended up very heated.
Life right now, you know what I mean? The more I bless people, the more I get blessed. And it's just a testament of hard work and being resilient and being real with yourself. You know what I mean?
Can I ask you a question, Jim?
Mm-hmm.
You smoke, right?
Yeah.
Were you smoking when you said you better than Nas?
I might have been a little bit. Well, as far as let's get this right. I'm way more influential than Nas, and I don't care what nobody say. I know I made a little boo-boo when you talk about the sales and all this type of shit. I feel like getting into that rhetoric about where I started and where he started.
Well, you said that
but
bullshit.
Listen,
you don't get to make an argument solely around one thing, and then once that thing get disproven, you want to pivot the argument to another thing. The argument that you was talking about wasn't about influence. You was talking about, catalog for catalog, Nas catalog ain't messing with Miles. Look at the Billboard charts and come back to me. We looked at the Billboard charts and came back to Jim Jones, and now Jim Jones is trying to change the conversation.
But listen, Nas was nice when I was in high school. When I was in 10th grade, Nas came out. Nas was dope. We appreciated him. He had a little bit run. But Nas always came up second to Jay and DMX and all these other people. Like,
Ain't no shame in that. There a lot of mofos came up second to Tom Brady.
He never had that type of influence on us, except for his first album. I already told you. I used to want to dress like Nas because he had a lot of fresh clothes that the hustlers used to wear and shit. I used to see him on TV. He had one of the illest albums of all time. And then in high school when he had the barbecue and shit like that. So I'm a real fan of Nas, but he kind of lost me after the movie Belly and shit like that. Like, I don't.
Man, go ahead on with that, Jim.
I'm trying to tell you, I'm being honest. You ask me, I'm being a fan. I'm telling you, the movie Belly was fire, but after that, he kind of lost me. I think we was way too much into the game. Remember how this goes. You ever heard of a Kofi list?
Yeah.
Yo, go back into your history and find out what happened between us and him. You dig? And I'm not trying to repeat history, but don't play with us when it comes to that, bro. We already went wild on them boys. You heard? We the ones that went wild on them boys. You heard?
Hey, Jim.
Yo, and people out here acting like I said I'm gonna bring the Kofi list back. I just told you I'm a changed man. Steph Law, key, you dig?
Nah, look, I'm put it to you like this, Jim. Hey, bro, you been at this thing, but lyrically, I'm gonna keep it a stack with you.
Jim Jones' emotions and confidence is so fragile that he begins to go personal. Shannon Sharpe was only talking about music, talking about rap skills. Jim Jones then began to take a dig at Shannon Sharpe's wardrobe and how he dressed. And he's sort of dog whistling, the sexuality questions regarding Shannon Sharpe as well. So Shannon Sharpe sees this, he takes notice of it, and Shannon Sharpe begins to dig back as well. But Jim Jones didn't know it at the time, but he was sort of digging himself into a hole that he wasn't going to get out of. Because essentially what he did right here was gave Shannon Sharpe any and all justification that when Shannon Sharpe really wanted to bleed him, he could bleed him, right? Shannon Sharpe could really roast him and make him feel really small, which takes place later in this podcast.
Yeah, but look how you dress. Look how you dress. You don't even be in the same places I be in.
I can be in the church house. You can't F with Nas lyrics. I don't know who told you that. Now look, y'all know you on that good stuff, but you're not seeing Nas. You're not seeing Nas, bro. Let's be real.
You got a bunch of 40 and 50-year-olds in their panties because I said I'm better than Nas.
It don't matter.
Look at you. Look at you.
Nobody from Dipset gonna take you over Nas. Nobody from the Diplomats but you.
Hold on, Jim. Hold on.
That shirt too tight.
Hold on.
Jimmy. You want to go back to I really mean it? I really mean it started. We could go back to the history, bro.
For you to even
say that, bro. Don't do that, bro. That shirt
I got a question.
Let Nas stick up for itself and meet me in a booth or something if we want to do something historical.
Nas say he don't do that no more. Nas say he don't do that
because he got $100 million. He's a very wealthy man. You heard he's a very smart businessman. He called a couple business clicks.
Hold on. Jimmy, hold on. I got a question.
Jim Jones gets so upset that Shannon Sharpe don't agree with him and he's arguing him down. That Jim Jones then said quite possibly the dumbest thing I think I've ever heard anyone say. Jim Jones then said that Shannon Sharpe, by the way, the owner of Club Shay Shay, who got an interview on his platform that has surpassed over 80 million views. That Shannon Sharpe, who has multiple YouTube channels with over 1 million subscribers, that Shannon Sharpe apparently is clickbaiting and brought Jim Jones on to get him views and to turn up his podcast. Jim Jones really believes that he's providing Shannon Sharpe with a stimulus package and that Shannon Sharpe needs him for views. That's when Shannon Sharpe had to put him in his place, man.
I can sing more Nas records than you right now. So you are capping. You are capping. That's what you're doing.
First of all, bro,
you are capping. I'm a bigger Nas fan than you are. You are capping.
First of all,
I'm
57. I don't be singing no rap. I don't be singing no rap.
You see what I'm saying, Ocho? He don't even know about rap. He just doing this for the views to get Jim Jones on there to get him hot. I understand. But you don't
get
know
him hot.
You don't know Nas.
You better check the podcast space. Now you better talk.
Sing 16.
Hey, this the biggest podcast you ever been on.
Name one Nas record.
This the biggest podcast you ever been on. Do you know the podcast you been on better than this one?
Hold on. We off topic. Hold on.
This is what I do.
You name a podcast you've been on bigger than this one. When you get big, you get invited to Club Shay Shay.
This is what I do.
Nas get invited to Club Shay Shay.
Jadakiss
get invited to Club Shay Shay. You
Hey,
not
yo.
on that level yet, bro. Slow
We
down.
It's for little young
Hello?
white girls. Chill out.
We
Chill
off
out. Don't play
topic.
with me, bro. Chill
We
out.
off topic.
You dealing with the wrong one, bro.
Right here, bro.
I
heard
don't
me?
care nothing about nothing that shit you got to say, bro. You might as well take me
Hello?
off this shit.
We hear him. You can't out
Leave
talk
me alone, bro.
You might can out rap me, but you can't out talk me.
Don't nobody want to go to Club Shay Shay. Nobody want to buy no VIP tickets to that shit. Nobody rushing to go to that shit.
If
You ain't got
podcast
nothing
you ever
lit
been
in
on,
Club Shay Shay.
Hey,
you do got a good podcast.
you get an invite.
You do got
Ain't
a good
nobody
podcast.
listening to me?
The podcast is tremendous. You and Ocho do your thing. But don't get it twisted, bro. I don't care nothing about no fucking podcast, bro.
That's exactly what I mean when I say Jim Jones and his confidence can somehow lead into delusion. This man really stated with a straight face that him being on Shannon Sharpe's podcast is gonna get Shannon Sharpe hot again. As if Shannon Sharpe don't have like top 5 biggest podcasts in the world right now. I don't know, man. Jim, the Nas argument isn't really the way. You don't need to do that, bro. right? Like to get your credit. You could get your credit other ways, man. All right. Maybe build something, right? Like build your own podcast. Maybe build your own fashion brand. All right. If you can make Chrome Hearts hot, if you can make the BB Bells hot, you could go ahead and start your own fashion brand and get hot that way. Go the Yeezy route. You don't have to do these things, man. Because the more you do these things, the more you get discredited. The more people take away credit from you because you embarrass yourself and you make yourself look crazy. Let me know in the comment section, what do you guys think about this, man? And if you're still watching, click on this video right here to find out how, like, this interview with Angela Yee just destroyed this rapper's career. I'm going to see you guys in this video somewhere on my screen. I'm out of here, folks. Peace.